Welcome to the Backyard Bouquet podcast, where stories bloom from local flower fields and home gardens. I'm your host, Jennifer Galizia of The Flowering Farmhouse. I'm a backyard gardener turned flower farmer located in Hood River, Oregon. Join us for heartfelt journeys shared by flower farmers and backyard gardeners. Each episode is like a vibrant garden, cultivating wisdom and joy through flowers. From growing your own backyard garden to supporting your local flower farmer, the Backyard Bouquet is your fertile ground for heartwarming tales and expert cut flower growing advice. All right, flower friends, grab your gardening gloves, garden snips, or your favorite vase because it's time to let your backyard bloom. Hey, fellow Dahlia growers, as the seasons start to change, it's almost time to put our dahlias to bed for the winter and start planning next year's gardens. Interested in joining a community of supportive dahlia enthusiasts? Be sure to check out the Dahlia Patch. To thank my podcast listeners, I'm offering a 1-month free trial. Just click the link in the show notes to join. The Dahlia Patch is an interactive online community focused on hands-on learning, featuring monthly live trainings, interactive Q&A sessions, and regular monthly live chats to keep our green thumbs busy all year round. Whether you're new to dahlias or a seasoned grower, you'll always find new techniques to master and planning tips for the season ahead. Join the Dahlia Patch today by following the link in our show notes and grow your dahlia gardening network. Hope to see you in the Dahlia Patch. Welcome to another episode of the Backyard Bouquet podcast, where we celebrate the beauty of blooms and the stories of those who nurture them. Today, I'm excited to introduce you to a special guest, Vonda VandeHoef, a passionate backyard gardener from the Pacific Northwest who has a special knack for growing and hybridizing stunning dahlias. Vonda's love for gardening shines brightly on her Instagram page, where she shares the vibrant colors and intricate forms of her favorite blooms. Married to her high school sweetheart and deeply influenced by her family, Vonda's garden is not just a place of beauty, but a sanctuary filled with love and inspiration. She cherishes pink flowers, her adorable pug, and the simple joys of life surrounded by nature. In today's episode, Vonda will share her journey into the world of dahlia hybridization, process for cultivating new varieties, and the joys of gardening in the Pacific Northwest. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just starting to dip your toes into the floral world, Vonda's insights and experiences are sure to leave you feeling inspired. Vonda, it's so wonderful to have you here today. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I can't wait to chat with you today. Could you start by telling us what sparked your passion for cut flowers?
Well, my mom always grew a lot of flowers, and then we actually had a flower shop for almost 20 years. And so I had gone to school for interior design for just a little bit, and then she wanted to open a flower shop. So then I came back, and I got married, and we had the flower shop together. And so I just have always loved flowers, and I didn't start gardening here until more a few years ago. But probably my mom. Yeah.
Where did you grow up?
Right here in Linden.
Yeah. So you're in Linden, Washington, which is in the northern tip.
Yes.
Of Washington.
Very northwest tip of Washington. Yes.
Okay. Almost to the Canadian border.
Yes. Yep. A few minutes away. Yeah.
So paint a picture for us. What's your growing zone like there?
Well, we're supposed to be like 8B, I do believe. But we can get like these crazy northeastern wind and snow storms. And so it can get like really, really cold sometimes. You don't know if you're going to get them or not, but if you do, it's really cold. So, yeah.
So by really cold, is that like below zero? Or
Yes. And especially with the wind chill. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's your weather like right now? We're chatting mid-September.
Right now, it's really pretty. We've had a little bit of rain this year, but like mid-60s, 70s, yeah, kind of right around there.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. Sometimes we get like a beautiful, beautiful September. This year's been not quite as nice, but still pretty.
I was looking
Yeah.
at the weather forecast and it looks like in Oregon, we're supposed to go up to almost 90 degrees next week. It's like summer's coming back after we've
Oh
been in the
my
70s and 60s.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a little bit more summer. I'm a summer person, spring, summer. I need my sunshine. Yeah.
Sunshine is nice. Well, if you
Mhm.
grew up around flowers, I'm sure that the sunshine is super important for growing the flowers
Yes.
and being out and enjoying them. Let's go back in time a little bit. So, you went to school for interior design,
Yes, just for a short time. I thought that's what I wanted to do. I still love that, but um, yeah.
but that probably helped you develop an eye for detail that helped you when you went to help your mom with the floral shop.
Yes, that and I think the whole color, I love for me, like when I'm planting things, I probably am not always practical where I don't plant like, 10 of the same plant together. I'm thinking, okay, well, I want some pink over there and I want some peach here and I want more pink over there. So everything's kind of scattered. But visually for me, and when I'm taking pictures, that I think sometimes I just kind of grow how I want things to look instead of what's probably easier or more practical.
Which is
Yeah.
why your pictures are always so beautiful.
Thank you.
When
Thank
I
you.
used to do newborn photography,
Mhm.
I did not an internship, I went to a workshop. And one of the things the instructor said was to study color theory if you wanted to be a good photographer. And it's carried over into photography. Or
Yes.
I can't talk today. It's carried over into flowers where I think about what colors will work well together when I'm putting
Definitely.
palettes together.
Yeah,
So, did
definitely.
you find that you were incorporating a lot of that into the flower shop as well?
Yes, I did a lot of the bouquets and we did a lot of weddings and then just yeah, I think it just helped, just with color and like I really didn't have a lot of color here when we moved here. We kind of had a clean slate. And so over 22 years we added different structures and then probably about 8 years ago I started growing more flowers here. So, yeah.
So, you said 22 years. That's how long you've been in your current home.
Yes, uh-huh.
That's a long
Yeah.
time. So, you probably have a very established garden.
Yes, it's getting there. A lot of like like we planted like wisteria and like trumpet vine and we have these Italian cypress up in front, which I don't think anybody thought would make it up here, but I loved them. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try it. And we have a lot of boxwood everywhere and just kind of enclosed our space. We didn't have a lot of houses around us when we moved here, so we knew that everything was coming, so we kind of made a little, enclosed back area. Yeah.
How much space do you have at your house?
We're on a corner, so probably I think we're a little over half an acre. I think we're supposed to be close to 3/4 of an acre, but with the sidewalks and roads, it's not quite that much anymore. But yeah,
That's a good amount of space, though. So, you can
it
grow a
is.
lot of plants and a lot of flowers.
Yes, I have people ask me, they see all of them growing in the front yard, and I go, "Oh, there's actually more in the back." So John used to really love his lawn, but, as the kids grew up and moved out, we didn't need, like, the trampoline and the swimming pool, and those things kinda leave, like, those dead patches in the lawn. And so I'd go, "Hey, can I, like, have that spot for a garden and that spot for a garden?" And yeah.
I
Mm.
love that. So, did you move into this house when you were working at the flower shop with your mom?
No, we had, trying to think. Yes, I think we still had it then. We closed it in, I do believe it was 2005.
The flower
Yeah.
shop.
Yes, mhm, and we moved in here 2002.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So, I know I'm still sticking with the flower shop. I want to take
Yeah.
chronologically through your history here.
Yeah.
Did you grow flowers for the flower shop also, or did you bring in flowers? How did
You
that work?
know, yeah, I wish now that would probably be what I would have loved to have done more than, even, like, the bouquets and the weddings and all that. Like, I love the growing, and I think that I probably would have taken that on, but I don't think there was as many people doing that back then. So we called him, our flower guy, and he would go up to the Canadian market and get us really fresh stuff that they were growing right across the border and stuff then. And then we did have to order some stuff in, but, he would just find us the most amazing things. Remember, I always loved, like, the ranunculus and the celosia, and now I've, like, been able to try to grow all that stuff even just for fun, and just for myself. It's been neat to just try all the different things that I used to just, gawk over on the truck. I was just like, "Oh my gosh, they're so beautiful," and yeah, so that's fun.
I love
Mm.
that. So back then at the flower shop, there were little seeds being planted in your life,
Yeah.
literally, that made you
Yes.
eventually want to grow your own garden, it sounds like.
Yes, definitely, and it helps me remember, um, just the neat, times. My mom and I started it, and then, my youngest sister, she joined us, like, the last 5 years because she was, boy, was she, like, 12 years old maybe when we started, and then, she would, like, help with my kids 'cause we have 4 kids. They're all grown up now, but, so the flower shop was actually on my parents' property,
Oh,
and so that was really neat because the kids could just, run around and kinda sort of grow up a little bit where I did too as well. Um, so yeah, so that was really neat. We made a lot of, fun memories there, even just for the kids, because I wanted to be present in their lives too. They grow up so fast and yeah.
oh, that's beautiful. How neat that you got to grow up there. And then you opened up a flower shop with your mom. And then your
Yeah.
kids got to run around while you and your
I
mom were running the flower shop.
Yes.
So, did the flower shop mostly cater to weddings and events, or did it also do daily orders for flowers?
It was a lot of daily orders. We had just the sweetest following of people, that would, call us on Mother's Day or Valentine's Day. We knew if they hadn't called yet, we knew we had to have some stuff saved for certain people because we knew that they would be calling. Um, and then we did, like, some events, like at Christmas and stuff, and then lots of weddings. Our summers got really booked, and I think that was kind of when we realized too, I think the last summer we were open, we had, like, only 1 weekend where we could have done something, and you realize, like, that's when the kids are home is the summer, and, my sister was gonna have twins, and we just were like, "Okay, we've been doing this for a long time," and yeah, I think my mom too, we just kind of all realized we needed to focus on other things. Yeah.
I think that's beautiful that you guys all recognized where your priorities were and that you were able to make that change over to focusing on your family.
Yeah.
When you closed up the flower shop, did you transition into anything else in the floral industry, or what happened after that?
I really didn't, for a while. So my my sister, it was really hard. She had her little twins, and then, she was pregnant with her 3rd, little baby, and he was a little boy, and, she passed away really unexpectedly.
Oh,
Um,
gee.
yeah, it
I'm
was
so
it was
sorry.
really hard, but, so my mom, it was kinda just devastating to all of us, and, so my mom kind of, I helped her with her gardening. I could tell that I think that was she just needed to be outside in the flowers, and so we kind of built she built this whole, garden where she had, like, a section for each of us kids, and my dad and brother built her, like, a pond, so she had these koi,
Mm.
and then she made, like each section of the garden, like our colors and what we would love. So she did that kind of in memory of my sister and her little baby. And yeah, and so I helped her for quite a few years. And then I'm sorry, then we lost my mom suddenly to pancreatic cancer back in 2016. And then sorry, my brother-in-law passed away, my sister's husband, 4 months later after routine surgery. So it was a really difficult time. Um, and I think that's when I realized that I needed to be looking for something, for beauty and for something just, you need to look, really, it's really easy to get really dark and sad. And you still have those moments. But I realize, like, when I'm outside in the flowers, like, I think it helps me feel closer to them. Um,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm so sorry for your losses.
Yeah.
That is so hard, and that's so many amazing people in your life to lose in a short period of time. What stands out to me is how you all shared this love for flowers, and
Yes.
you have been able to continue that, and you get to carry out some of their legacy.
Yes. I'm definitely going to be naming some after them if I can figure out how to get, them released. The seedlings, I've got a couple that I've kind of got that I'm thinking might be for them at this point already. So
Those are dahlias that you are
yes, the
referencing.
dahlias, yes.
So, at
Mhm.
what point did you get into growing dahlias and hybridizing them from seed?
Okay, so it's really funny, but I started I actually think I got my first dahlia tubers from the little high school plant sale that my son was taking, like, the class there. And so they always have like this spring sale, and somebody was selling these little dahlia tubers, and I'm like, oh, I've never grown dahlias. It's really funny because my mom never grew dahlias. It just wasn't her thing. And so I think I always kind of was watching what mom did, and I'm like, well, I kind of think they're really pretty. And so I grew those, and I don't even know which ones they were at this point. They were just in this little back corner of the garden where it was way too shady, And but I was like, those are fun. And so I think it was the next year, maybe, you know what, I think we had a year in between. My husband was diagnosed with leukemia in 2017.
Oh my
And so
gosh.
we spent almost the whole summer in the hospital down in Seattle. And it was a very, um, it was really hard to be, just away from the kids, and, um, just not knowing, what was going on. And, but they're amazing down there. And there was like a garden at the hospital. And I would just kind of, if I was overwhelmed, I would just take a little walk outside and walk just through the flowers a little bit. But what happened was our lawn pretty much just died that summer. It was so hot, and John was always so good about, like, watering everything and keeping everything green. That was his thing. And so then it was actually the next year, I think, where there was like all this, the grass just looked horrible. And I'm like, hey, could we like maybe dig that part up? And can I have, I'd like to grow a garden. He's like, yeah, sure, go for it. And so I ordered tubers from like Triple Wren and the Flower Hat and some of them. And I think I maybe started out with 40. You know how that goes. And so then the next year I ordered more, and then we added a second bed farther down, and then after that it was like a third bed. And yeah, and then I think it was in 2020, I think it was, that, the Discovering Dahlias book and then the Dahlia breeding book from Christine, came out. And so my son had gotten me, one of my oldest had gotten me the book from Christine Albright about Dahlia breeding. And so I I'm like, I'm gonna try this. This looks fun. I think sometimes just I don't know, just all the new, the new stuff is it's just fun. It's like this little gift. You go out there and, there's just something that's never grown before. Um, and so I saved some seeds and then I planted them out. I didn't have a ton of them, just a few, because I didn't know what I was doing. And and then I had this beautiful pink one. I still have her. She's the only one left that has made it from then. But I was like, wow, this is amazing. Of course, there's a bunch after that now that are not that pretty.
Mhm.
But it bloomed right before yeah, my husband, the leukemia came back, and so we ended up having to go back to Seattle again, and
This
but
was in 2021?
this was in 2021, yes, and so, the first time we had, yeah, spent, 2 months down there, and then, he needed a stem cell transplant, so we actually had to go back, and we spent, like, Christmas down there, and, then we were down there for 3 months after that, just, because we had to make sure he was okay, and it takes a while just for that whole process. So he was clear for over 4 years. And so we thought everything was,
Mhm.
good. And then, yeah, came back in 2021. But, that little just bit of beauty, I don't even know how my dahlias made it through that year because I was only home for a couple of days. I had to, my boys, older two boys came over and we dug them up. It was the weekend, I think it was that it flooded that Nooksack and Sumas. I don't know if you remember hearing about this big,
No.
huge flood. And, we're in Linden, but the roads, I was home for, I think, for 2 days. And so we were digging up in the rain and I just shoved everything in crates and just threw it in the garage. And I'm like, okay, you're on your own. But I remember I was like leaving town because I had to get back to Seattle and some of the roads were shutting down as I was trying to get out
Oh my
onto
goodness.
the freeway. It was just crazy. And then I was, down in Seattle for a while again. But he got in remission again. They are just amazing down there. And we had just this amazing doctor. We're actually want to possibly name one of our first dahlias after her because she was so amazing and we would like to, be able to, I don't know, even just give back to Fred Hutch, maybe do part of like a donation type thing.
What is Fred Hutch?
It's where they treated John. It used to be Seattle Cancer Care, and now it's the Hutchinson Cancer Research, and they're
Mhm.
connected with like the University of Washington Medical Center, and that's where like they did all of his stem cell transplant and his chemotherapy and all of that. They are like his follow up team, and we actually still go down there and see them, and check in with them, and yeah, they're amazing, and so we would like to be able to just, give back at some point in some way when we're able to. And so we had actually kind of talked about maybe this pink dahlia, possibly naming that one after her. And
What's the doctor's name?
I'll say her first name is Elizabeth. And
Okay.
so yeah, so we kind of had another name picked, and that one kind of got taken. So we're thinking we might go this route
Gotcha.
instead, and it was kind of on our hearts. Yeah, so we'll see.
Well,
And yeah, I
that's
need to name one after my mom. But that one will have to be like a corally orange or something. That was her favorite color, and my sister's favorite color was yellow. So I've kind of got specific colors, picked, yeah, for
y
them.
you've got a list or an order of what you gotta
Yes.
stick with to make sure you honor them and their legacy. I love that. Out of such heartbreak
Yeah.
and sadness, you have found this beauty and this way to really feed your soul and share beauty with others, and hope, I think,
Yes.
is a big part of it.
Yes. Yeah, I think, when you can sometimes I just need to catch my breath. And so I think when you can go outside when it's spring and summer and things are blooming, I think you can go out there and just kind of like take a deep breath and just be thankful for the beauty and the life around you. And there's so many little bees and butterflies and a lot of green lawns around here, but I think there's more people growing flowers too. And I love that my kids have all kind of just taken up they've all got like little gardens that they've planted, and some of my family, my sister, um, I would love to be able to somehow, I don't want to be a big flower farmer, but I would love to be able to help support her in a way too. When she lost her husband, she's got 3 girls too, and so yeah,
Thank you for being vulnerable there and really sharing subjects that are so close to the heart and to your family. I think so many of our listeners can relate, as the garden can be such a place for healing.
yeah.
And it's amazing that you have found healing through dahlias, and now you're getting ready to share this amazing thing with the world. You have been hybridizing dahlias since 2001. Is that correct?
Yes, I think I got my first seeds in 2020, and so I saved them and then grew them out in 2021. Yeah.
So I've got to do the math in my head. So is that 4 years in? You have some fourth year seedlings?
I've got one fourth year, and then I've got is there six, three third year, I think, and then quite a few new ones that I've just been, growing out again this year. So yeah, so I should have 6 or 7 of them ready here, hopefully in the next couple of years. If I can, figure out, I want to make sure I have enough to share. Yeah.
That's really exciting. So for those that are listening who have not dipped their hands or their toes into hybridizing dahlias, it is a process. It's not like you can just grow a dahlia from seed and then next year distribute your flower into the world. Well, you could, but that's not the recommended path to take. Can you walk us through that a little bit? So the first year you grow the dahlia out,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're going to save it for another year?
Yes. And then if it's good, then yes, you're going to save it. And a lot of times it's just, it's a smaller clump, and then grow it out the next year. And then you can start kind of dividing, the tubers. And I did almost lose my pink one with one of our Northeast storms. I thought it was okay, and I had it divided, and I realized the tubers were kind of slowly shriveling up. That's why it's very important to check on your tubers, numerous times in the
In
winter.
the winter and storage, yes.
Yes. And so I had read the section on how you can take cuttings. So I potted up the last 3 and took cuttings, or I would have lost it. But anyway, yeah, so you grow it out. It's best to grow it out for they like it to be 4 years. So this is the 4th year for one of mine. Some people, I think you can introduce them after 3. But like I said, you would want to have enough. I did take quite a few cuttings. I think I took like 50 cuttings of that one this year, just so I had more plants. And I'm hoping, I don't think we have enough property here for me to make enough tubers. So I'm kind of checking into having, I've been talking with a few people to see if they would want to grow out the tuber part, or if somebody else would want to help with the cuttings, for sales. Yeah.
How many dahlias are you able to grow on your property?
Okay. So we kind of have them crammed everywhere right now. I probably have, oh goodness, in the front lawn, I think there's probably like 450.
Oh
And
my
then
goodness.
I know it's kind of crazy. I plant them very close together. And then in the back, we've got a bunch of raised beds in the back. And so I added those up. And what I do back there is I plant all my seedlings, and I've got some that are second and third. I've got like 2 big raised beds, and then they've got like the second and third year seedlings in. And then, so I think back there, I figured out I've got, there's probably over 800 in the back. Just, so I've probably got over 1,300 between like seedlings and large for, the larger ones. But yeah, I know Microflower Farm even had more on her land than I do, and I'm like, "I don't know where you put all yours, but I'm trying." Yeah.
It's hard when you have limited space and you wanna grow them
Mhm.
all.
Yeah.
So are you growing first-year seedlings this year as well?
Yes, there's probably over 600 of those out there in the back. Mhm.
Wow, that's
I know.
amazing.
But I got them planted pretty late this year, so that was my own fault. I did take on too much, and I realized that. But, all of, Erin's florets, hers are all starting to bloom now. Um
When you say hers, ones that you grew from her seeds?
Yes, from her seeds, and
Amazing.
Petite Florets has there are so many good ones in there. I They are just so pretty. They're just beautiful. So many pinks, which, I love. So, yeah, and I've got a couple of mine that, have opened now. I think I've got 3 this year so far that are looking really good, and a ton of them that have not even bloomed yet. So, hopefully we get another, at least 6 weeks of sunshine maybe.
I know it's been such a weird season this year. I have some of my first years that I planted late as well that are just starting to
Yes,
bloom, and it's so hard when you see a beautiful one and you know that you're maybe only going to get 1 or 2 blooms before the season ends, and you're like,
I
it's really
know.
hard to evaluate a seedling with
It
only a couple
is.
flowers.
I know. And then you don't know, like, if you should take cuttings or just, divide that little chunk and maybe grow 2 or 3 of them. That's kind of what I did this last year was I just grew, I cut it in half and just, grew a couple, of each one because some of them definitely change, after that first year. But, it's just really fun to me. And I can't really take the credit for mine. My bees are my hybridizers, and I just kind of, I probably do it a little bit different. I just have a really wide variety of dahlias out there, and I know, like, you're kinda supposed to keep some of them separated, but visually, I just need them all out there, all mixed in, And so, but I've gotten a really different range of, dahlia seedling varieties. And I get a lot of open centers, but like I love the anemones too. They are just one of my favorites. And I've had some really pretty little seedlings there. Some of them are in their second year, some are in their first that just popped up this year. But oh my goodness, they're pretty. And but I just kind of pick certain varieties that I love if I love their color or their shape. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna save those seeds. And then I'll just do like one whole raised bed of like just that variety or something just to see what I get. And, it's just amazing the range of color and shape. And they're just so pretty. Yeah.
So your favorites are anemones. Do you have a
I love
favorite
them.
named variety?
Oh, that's really hard. Um, But I love, well, what's supposed to be Bracken Rose just because she's pink, and she's so perfect and so pretty. Um, and that's the mother of my 4th year seedling.
Oh,
Um,
awesome. Amazing.
yes, and I've gotten some really pretty seedlings from her. Um, but I also just love, like, there's one called caramel corn that's like this,
Mhm.
with the little fringed edges that she's kind of this golden with this touch of pink. And I got the most amazing seedling from her. That's a second year that, um, I don't know. Yeah, I just love them. They're so pretty.
It's hard to choose a favorite.
It is, isn't it? Polka's fun too, just because she's so different. And some of them, it just seems like, you try them a couple times and they're so pretty for other people, but I've realized too, like, my space is getting limited and I'm gonna have to let some of them go probably, but then I'm always like, "Oh, I need to try that one," and, like, this year I was able to get KA Cinder Rose, and oh my goodness, that one is so pretty. It's such a beautiful color. It's Yeah.
I did not get that one, and now I'm kicking myself. I'm like, "Oh, I should have gotten that one because all the pictures, I'm just
I know.
astonished at how
Oh,
beautiful it is."
she's so beautiful. Yeah, very beautiful. Yeah.
So you grow over 1,300 dahlias. Do
Mhm.
you sell tubers?
I did a couple years, but, just kind of here locally and stuff. But I'm kind of in and then I lost a few, just with everything going on, and we had some really cold winters, and so then I kinda had to build my stock back up, and I also realized I wanted to get a little more maybe serious and professional about it if I'm gonna do it, and so we're working on, yeah, getting the name and the license. I didn't know if I wanna go that route just because I enjoyed just the gardening and then I don't want to add stress. I had the gardening to help me get rid of stress, if that makes
Sure.
sense. Yes. So if I probably just need, a little bit of encouragement and maybe help from other people, letting other people help me figure some of that out, And, we have talked to the kids, to our older our kids are all older now, and, so I said, "Hey, if any of you want in on this," um, yeah, because one has done, like, a lot of, business communications work, and he's done websites and different things. They're all very smart, and then our daughter loves to, help me in the garden when she's home too. She's actually started her own little garden this year. It's just the sweetest.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's
Mhm.
off on her own now.
Yes, yes, they are. So,
So are you an empty nester now?
not quite. We have one here yet, but pretty close. So,
Okay.
yeah, the other 3, we have 4. So, yeah, the other 3 are all out and, yeah.
And so are the kids supportive of you growing this into a business?
Yes, they are very. And so I've also told them too, I want to like, name, you know, a dahlia after each of them or let them pick a name. And I just want to give them the proceeds of that one the first year for the first sale. I just feel in my heart, I would love to be able to do that with them and give them a little, thing to go off of and just be able to, share. We had a lot of people, help us through different things and different times. And even for my sister that lost her husband, I would love, even to maybe build in where she can help me and not have to work so hard a different way on her own. So that's kind of been in my heart. We want to just, be able to help take care of her. And so we'll see where this goes. I definitely need help with like the technical part of it and the computers and the website.
That part is the hard part, and I don't think people realize when we talk about like dahlia wars and everyone wanting to get the
Yes.
dahlias is we are small growers and
Mhm.
farmers. We are not tech people, and we're
Mhm.
doing our best to build friendly websites, but it can be expensive to build a website,
Yes.
and we
Mhm.
have limited resources. And when you have 20,000 people coming to your site, you're
Yeah.
not prepared to keep it from crashing, or it can be very expensive to have the bandwidth to support that kind of audience. So there's a lot that goes into building it that's not part of what you signed up for as growing a dahlia. It's
I
very different.
Yeah, I know, and that's the part that I don't wanna, like, upset people, and you don't wanna, you know, I think I'm more of, like, I think even in the flower shop, I was kind of the person in the back room. I didn't really do a lot of the talking. I just did more of the flowers, and I let my mom and my sister were, like, the people, if that makes sense. And so, I just wanna make sure that if I decide to go ahead with, releasing some of them, that people are happy with them and that I have all of that figured out first.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a lot of work just to grow the dahlias and keep them alive and
Yes.
healthy. And then you're also
Yeah.
documenting them and sharing them with the world on social media. Do you
Yes.
have help out in your garden?
Um, you know, John helps rototill in the spring if we rototill. Some years we don't, depending on how he has felt, in the past. And then the boys will help me a little bit with the compost if they're in here or around a certain day. And some of them do help me dig them up in the fall because that is a lot of work. And then if my daughter comes in for a visit, we'll do little things. I don't want to like expect the help from them, but I do like all of the planting and the starting, and I was able to get a couple of little greenhouses last year, and we put one together last fall and one together this spring. I had been saving up for them for a while, and so then I had a place, instead of just in the house, flower, dahlia seedlings everywhere, and all the other flowers that you want to grow everywhere. It was really nice to have the greenhouses to put them out there. So, yeah, a lot more room.
It allows you to get started a little bit earlier. I know my
Yes,
greenhouse is always packed full. I've got an 8 by 12 greenhouse from Northwest Green Panels,
that's nice.
and I'm sad we're moving in a week, and just leave the greenhouse behind. We are getting another one, but it's so handy in the spring because
Yeah,
you don't want hundreds of seedlings inside your house, but it's not warm enough outside. So that greenhouse really allows you to grow out those seedlings before it's safe to put them outside.
it does. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, so you do almost all of this by yourself. How are you
A lot.
planning a lot of it by yourself? There's a lot that goes into it. I mean, is it your full-time job keeping up the garden, would you say?
Yes, yes. Plus, I do on like my husband's book work for his businesses and stuff too. But yeah, and that's part of it too. Is I don't know if I want more book work, if that makes any sense.
Totally.
But yeah, I love being outside though. I love just being out in the garden. And
Was your garden this large when your kids were younger?
no, nope, no. Not at all. Like I said, we kind of had built a foundation here. There were only a couple trees here when we moved onto our place. And so we slowly just added kind of these, yeah, I guess I would call it foundation pieces. And then I really didn't start growing dahlias till probably, yeah, 7, 8 years ago, just little bits. And then it just gradually, the last few years has really taken off. So for a lot of people, though, I think,
Yeah.
I think people were home yeah, I've always loved flowers. I always grew like sweet peas, and different things like that, and roses. I moved roses a couple different times with us. And so we did add a bigger rose garden 2 years ago too. So that was really neat. Yeah, to be able to do that.
So you have your primary flowers you're growing are dahlias, you
Yeah.
have roses. What
Mhm.
else do you grow in your garden?
Well, we do have this whole little sweet pea. We have a couple little sweet pea arches that arbors that we grow. And then like I love zinnias. So the floret zinnias they were so pretty this year. Some of them are like taller than me. They're just absolutely beautiful. And then let's see, what else did I grow? Oh, the celosia was so pretty. And then I've got cosmos growing out there. And then I grew a bunch of little things in some other raised beds way up by the road. I did some yarrow and feverfew, some status. So just kind of some filler flowers. And yeah,
You can never have enough filler flowers.
right. I know. That's kind of what I told myself. So I kind of grew more of that this year too. And I hadn't done as many of those before. So I know that took more of my time and space. Oh, and snapdragons. Got to have snapdragons, right? Those are always beautiful.
I did not
Yeah,
have snaps this year, and oh, I miss them. They
I
they
know.
really add so much to a bouquet.
They do. Oh, and then tulips, right? You've got to do like the tulips and this, fall plant, and they're blooming in the spring. And I know there's just so many beautiful flowers. There just is. It's hard to know when to, and peonies. I've got, some peonies, and it's hard to know when to tell yourself, so, okay, you don't need to grow all of that this year, but you want to because they're so pretty. Mhm.
Absolutely. Well, with as many flowers as you grow, and you're not selling commercially right now, what do you do
Yeah.
with so many flowers?
I do have a little flower stand. There's
You
quite a few
do.
little flower stands around here. So there used to not be as many, but it's pretty sweet. So there's one every, you know, yeah, there's a lot.
That's
Um,
amazing. I love that.
yes. Yeah, it's really sweet. And so I do put some out there, and, I'll make them just for people if God puts someone in my heart, and I think, oh, I'm thinking of them. I'm like, maybe they need flowers. So sometimes I'll bring somebody a bouquet, or stuff like that. And, I give a lot of them away. Yeah.
It's always amazing when you share flowers. You just never know what someone's going through at the moment and how
Mhm.
much they can truly brighten or change their day.
Yes. And I
That
think I realized that when we had the flower shop, how many people would order flowers for people.
Mhm.
And so I think for me now too, like I just realized, if somebody's might be going through something, flowers just I think they do help brighten someone's day. Like you said, they just I think they're good.
Absolutely. I know they always brighten my day. I'll take
Yes.
flowers any day of the year.
Mine too.
So,
Yes.
so let's go back to your dahlias a little bit more
Yes.
because that's what I primarily see on your Instagram feed.
Yes.
And it drew me to you. You have so many beautiful ones.
Thank you.
How are you planning to release them to the world? Do you have a name as a hybridizer?
That's what I've had one tucked away for a while. I know I was trying to decide if it's time to share it, but we don't have everything like locked in place
Okay.
yet. Um, and it's kind of based, I guess I can say it's kind of based off of a book that some of my boys read when they were younger, and it was about all these little animals. Um, and so I just have to make sure that we're allowed to use it, I guess, yet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But I also don't know. I know we have to decide about like the prefix of the dahlias. There's just so much that goes into it.
There's a lot,
Mhm.
absolutely. And then giving the dahlia a name and making sure it's not already used. And
Yes, I know because there's a lot more people, getting into the hybridizing and releasing them. And so you'll kind of go, oh, maybe that name is already taken, and you don't want to, yeah, double up on a name either. And there's a lot of there's so many pretty new ones out there.
oh, it's so
So
hard. My list just keeps growing and I'm like, I don't have space for more. Stop.
I
But
know
it's so exciting.
it is. Yeah.
There's so many beautiful introductions.
Mhm.
Do you find that you are breeding more of a particular style than others, or do you have an assortment of styles?
It's an assortment. It is definitely an assortment. Yeah, there there's some that are like, larger with more the curly petals. I've got a little one that's a second year that's kind of this, it's almost like a watermelon, but a little bit of raspberry in the middle, this
Ooh.
little ball. It's like a smaller one. She's a really pretty color. And then, I've got this one that's a third year. I don't even exactly know what to call it. A friend stopped by yesterday too, and she was like, the petals just go on and on and on. There's just like 1,000 petals in this thing, and you never see the middle of it. But it's got a good strong stem and it actually shimmers in the sun. And it was really sweet because she actually caught that when she was looking at it. And I'm like, I didn't even tell you that, but you saw it. So that was really neat. I kind of wanted her input on it. And I've asked a couple other people just to stop by and, um, because I haven't had a lot of time to, study, and go to the shows. And I've had a lot of other life things going on. And so I'm not even sure what all their classifications would be, and I should be more knowledgeable in that. But I just started growing them for the beauty of them. And I realize I have a lot to learn, in that area yet. Yeah, but a wide variety. Yeah.
So you're growing more for cut flowers versus show flowers, I would say.
Yes. At this point, yes.
Which I think is what a lot of the trends are going towards too,
I
because
know.
so much, well, I say Instagram is to blame for that. I mean, because everyone's seeing on
Yes.
Instagram, you want it for your cut flower bouquet. And I
Mhm.
think what fits in today's current trending palettes is very different than what you see at the Dahlia shows.
Yes, I think so too. I know. I think some of the ones that are like really different colors, I've got a couple of them right now too that honestly the pictures don't capture the color. One is it's so pretty. It's got this kind of a burgundy background, but the top part of it is almost like a tannish peach, but it's so pretty. We call her Spice Girl right now. The
Oh,
mom
I love
was
it.
yeah, the mom was Ferncliff Spice, which is a yellow. Yeah, it made no sense when this one came out. I was like, "Wow," I had to double check the tag a couple times, but it's a really pretty color. People that come through, they're like, "Oh, which one's that?" And I'm like, "That's a seedling, so thank you for noticing it." Um, so yeah, we'll see how she does. She's done really well again this year. So yeah.
That's exciting. Well, I can't wait to see what you release to the world in the
Sure.
future.
Yeah.
going back to your flower stand,
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to see more flower stands pop up in my area too. And I love
Yes.
the idea. I was talking with a friend about this last week, how neat it is that instead of having to go to the grocery store
Mm-hmm.
and buy flowers that were harvested in another country and flown here to the US,
I
you can
know.
literally be driving home from work these days and stop
Mm-hmm.
in your neighborhood and buy a bouquet of flowers.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really sweet. I
How
know.
how long have you had your flower stand?
Probably I would say probably the last maybe 3 or 4 years, I think.
And does it
Yeah.
just sit at the end of your driveway or how does it work?
We just kind of have it set up with some of these we have like this big beautiful umbrella that I've had for a long time, and then I've got like right now I have a big table out there, but we used to have some of these beautiful wrought iron pieces that we had from the flower shop. I would set like the buckets and stuff on there under the umbrella. um, and so that's kind of how I just started it, and we just have our little box out there, and um,
So
yeah.
you have an umbrella over your display.
Yes, yes. We should like build an actual box. Or I told John we could probably use the little greenhouse actually that's up in front too. Now because we do have this we have like a big front area too with a drive-through driveway on the corner there. So I said I could probably incorporate, the greenhouse into it as well. It just gets really hot in there in the summer. So yeah.
I love that you use when you said a flower stand, I was picturing that you have like the wooden box structure
Mhm.
that you see, but the fact that you have an umbrella with a cute little setup makes it even more attainable for other backyard gardeners to set up something cute and be able to sell their flowers also.
Yes, I just have to make sure I, put the umbrella down if it's windy, right? It's
Yeah, absolutely. That would be a problem in my area. We were getting like 40 something mile hour gusts the other day, and I was frantically trying to get all my dahlias corralled. I had them on the lower amounts, but they're up to my shoulders now. And I had to add more layers. They were flopping into the aisles. And I'm like, please don't break right now. I need you for a few more weeks.
I know, I was doing that too. We had some wind and rain. We had a bunch of rain, and I went outside and I put up another row of twine around all of them. I did it really quickly because there was a lot of them out there, but yes, I didn't wanna lose them either. They're all starting to bloom now. I got them in so late, and I'm like, "Oh, they're looking so pretty," and then we got a ton of rain, and
Yes.
yes.
Isn't it amazing how we wait so long for them to bloom? But I
Mhm.
don't know about you, but for me, it's like all of that time where I was like, man, this isn't working out. They failed, or I'm not going to have many blooms this season. And I second guessed it. It's like nature knew what to do.
Yes.
And now my field is in full bloom and I just stand there in awe. And I'm
Yes,
like, why did I ever second guess this?
I know. Me too, and sometimes there's only, like, a 2-week time frame
Hmm.
where, you kind of all of a sudden walk out the door in the morning and go, "Oh my goodness, this is why I do this," "This is what I needed today. This is my little" just that peaceful I don't know, just that beauty is, I think that's why we do it, right?
Absolutely. To feel
Mhm.
like you are making a difference in this little space that is yours, that you can create beauty and grow beauty is
Mhm.
such a special thing. What
Yeah.
would you say, Vonda, to people that are listening today that are inspired by your story and want to start growing their own cut flower garden? What advice would you give them?
I think it's always, good to start growing something that you love yourself. And I think you also need to do it in I don't I think everybody tries to find out how everybody else does everything, and if you walked, through my gardens, I'm not doing things how I should. I do it really different, but it works for me, and, I fit a lot of things in, and it doesn't always work every year, but I think then you try something different the next year, and, I just think you need to try things that you love, you know? Yeah.
That's beautiful advice. Try things that you love, which
Mhm.
could be sunflowers or it could be zinnias for someone or
Yes.
snapdragons. It doesn't have to be dahlias.
Yeah, and with dahlias, I think what's so neat about dahlias is, you can say dahlias and a different version of a dahlia pops up in everyone's mind because everybody has a different favorite. I mean, I probably have 20 favorites. And I think people are so different, and dahlias are also different. And there's a dahlia for everyone. It's just, they're just so fun.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, this conversation has been fun too. I've
Thank
loved chatting with
you.
you. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
how you have shared your story and how you have grown from a backyard gardener, and now you are exploring the option of selling your dahlias and becoming a licensed seller so that you can share your dahlias with the world, which you
Yeah.
have some beautiful ones that
Thank
I'm sure
you.
there's many chomping at the bit to
Thank you
grow
very
them in
much.
their gardens. And we can't wait for when you're ready to announce what your prefix will be and what your seedlings will be named. It's a big deal to name them.
It is. I know. It is. Yes.
I've been superstitious of wanting to name mine. I'm like, I think it's too early. I have some third year seedlings. I'm like, maybe I need to wait one more year. No, I
I
can do it.
know.
No, I need to wait. And I keep going back and
No.
forth.
I know. And I had said a name of one and then I lost it. And so now I'm really like, okay, I need to be really careful and not say it.
I totally understand. Absolutely. I respect that.
Yes.
Vonda, we have touched on a lot of different things today.
Yes,
Is
we
there
have.
anything we haven't talked about that you would like to share with our listeners today?
Um, I think there is a lot of pressure out there that everybody's trying to do everything, and I think you just have to realize that with the timing, like, if you've got stuff going on in your life, or you've got your little kids, or um like with my husband and our family, you have to like pick your priorities, and your family is always just the most important. And the flowers will be there, and they'll be there the next year, and there will be new ones the next year. And but I do think it is important to find something that inspires you if you're going through a really hard time. I just think and to have your people that will be there for you, and that even that you can share flowers with them.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Now, as you're getting your business started, where can our listeners find you?
I know I need to get a website. I need my son to help me with that. But so right now I'm only on Instagram, and it's just under Vonda VandeHoef, I do believe. Yes.
Well, we will include a link in the show notes so
Thank
our listeners can hop over and follow you so that they don't miss out when you launch your website and have details to share with us about your dahlias that you have hybridized. That's going to be
My
really
bees have
exciting.
hybridized, right? I
Yes,
know.
I love how you gave the bees
I
credit on
have to
that.
give the bees all the credit. They are just the sweetest out there. I just love them. Yeah.
I know I go out and I just stand in awe of them. I strategically place things next to each other that I want to cross.
Yes, I do
But
that too.
our season is too short to hand cross. I've been disappointed each time we get a rainstorm or a wind that breaks the ones that I've hand crossed, and then it doesn't work out. So I've said, you know what? The bees do such a great job.
They do. I've got some special bees. I think you do too.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I was watching earlier today, and on one of them, I pull back some of the back petals to help open up the flower as it starts to fade. And there were these 3 bees, and I just watched as they had their little back legs full of pollen in the pockets. And I was like, oh, you guys go.
I know. It's so special. I make sure they're all, safe out there too, and that they have a safe place here, and I just think that's so special. Yeah.
Absolutely. I was scared of them when I started 6 years ago. And now it's like I put
Yes.
my hands in, and someone told me that they recognize you. And I really believe that. I feel like I can be within inches of them. And I mean, I'm not going to try and grab them, but
Yes, especially the bumblebees, and the
yes.
honeybees are so sweet. One of our boys was actually allergic to honeybees when he was younger, so that was another reason I probably didn't have a lot of stuff growing here, but he's an adult now, and he hasn't been stung in a very long time. We have EpiPens, and but yeah, so
That is something you have to take seriously.
yes.
I understand that. Well, this has been such a fun conversation. I'd love to leave the door open if you'd like to come back when you are ready to announce your name and your hybrids. We'd love to hear more. So thank you for joining. Oh, it's been an honor. Thanks for joining us today. Happy gardening.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in for another episode. If you're eager to deepen your Dahlia knowledge and connect with like-minded Dahlia growers, you're invited to join the Dahlia Patch. We're offering a 1-month free trial exclusively for our listeners. Just click the link in the show notes to get connected with our thriving community. Hope to see you in the Dahlia Patch. Thank you, flower friends, for joining us on another episode of The Backyard Bouquet. I hope you've enjoyed the inspiring stories and valuable gardening insights we've shared today. Whether you're cultivating your own backyard blooms or supporting your local flower farmer, you're contributing to the local flower movement, and we're so happy to have you growing with us. If you'd like to stay connected and continue this blossoming journey with local flowers, don't forget to subscribe to the Backyard Bouquet podcast. I'd be so grateful if you would take a moment to leave us a review of this episode. And finally, please share this episode with your garden friends. Until next time, keep growing, keep blooming, and remember that every bouquet starts right here in the backyard.